Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here, and welcome to my Power Morphicon news wrap-up video. I have better lighting, I'm wearing my other glasses, it's a brand new day. So let's go ahead and go over this. This is basically going to be just kind of lots of bullet points of what I went over these last couple days. You know, the videos I did will be linked if you want more of that. This will be, you know, I'll be going over the news obviously, but this will be a little bit more thoughts, discussion, just because the other ones, my primary focus is trying to get the information to you, so now you get to hear my opinions, and you're gonna like it. No, I'm just kidding, you probably won't, you probably already left, so I appreciate you staying for about 32 seconds, 33, 34, 35, oh god, I'm running out of time. Okay, so I wrote it down here, I'm professional. Check out this grocery list, it looked like it was owned by a mom. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of go in chronological order the way I saw things happened. There's probably little tidbits and stuff that were said at panels that I may be missing, but you know, I haven't gone through the spectrum and watched any and all panels or anything like that. I just kind of got the bullet point news. Check the bullet points. Random DV Doomsday reference from Attack of the Show. Anyway, so the first news I saw was that Jack, the Hyperforce Yellow Ranger, is going to be in Legacy Wars. They announced, or previewed that we were going to be getting a bunch of Legacy Wars Rangers, and they announced them like every day. We had like Titanium, Shadow, Ranger Slayer, I think Samurai Goldpower, and then, you know, Jack, which was the coolest for me. I'm actually not too huge into Legacy Wars. I've tried a couple times, and I just, maybe again, but you know, for those that are into it, it's exciting. I was just excited to see Hyperforce get some more love. Jack's at least one of my favorites. I really like his character, really like that suit. So yeah, that's really cool. The Hasbro Power Hour, I'm gonna be surprised. I'm gonna be surprised in 2 minutes. Wait for it. No, 2 minutes is too long. I just said 2 seconds. Home Alone Face, Part 2, The Streets. Anyway, I've lost it in this video, guys. I think it's the caffeine. I got the coffee again in this one. That's gonna make an appearance in my superhero time reviews this week because I'm recording these together. Anyway, I'm so sorry, guys. So like the Hasbro Power Hour, first of all, I want to say I'm actually really surprised, at least to my knowledge, we didn't hear anything about the Beast Morphers toys. My prediction was, the more I thought about it, that we might see some sort of prototype of Beast Morphers toys, and then maybe hear about some Legacy type stuff. But what we wound up getting, obviously, was, you know, our first look at the Lightning Collection with MMPR White. And I'm sure there was stuff said somewhere about Beast Morphers toys. I didn't hear anything from any like main outlets or people. I'm sure somebody had a discussion somewhere, but I'm just kind of surprised. I mean, I know it's early, like, I'm surprised they even had such a fully fledged Legacy figure, Lightning figure, sorry, it's gonna take a while. But yeah, I was surprised that they favored that for some reason. But I guess it makes sense because it's more widespread appeal, like, when you get the news out there for everyone, they're like, oh, it's MMPR. Side note, I'm really, like, it's obviously still MMPR, which is to be expected. I fully expected the first sort of Legacy type thing they showed off to be Mighty Morphin related, but I had appreciation for the fact that we use white instead of, it's usually always either MMPR red or MMPR green or MMPR red with the green shield. So it was actually really cool that they used MMPR white. As I talked about in the video that I did on it, I think it looks really great. I love the kind of shade they throwed at Bandai, the fact that we're gonna get fully painted weapons and, you know, not just like, oh, here's the Dagger Blaster or the Blade Blaster, you know, just in its closed mode. So we're gonna get that, you know, and swappable heads, and it's all gonna, basically all the stuff you wanted out of the Legacy line for the right price point. As I mentioned, it was really satisfying. Like, I usually more defend Bandai just because I think people give them too hard of a rap in a lot of cases, but they definitely deserve some of it. But I was really annoyed at the comments they made about like, oh, it's too expensive. And you know what? I'm sure there was probably some financial reason why it was more expensive for them. But given that there was so many lines that were doing better for the same price, it just seemed ridiculous that they couldn't try harder to figure something out. So I was kind of living for that, to be honest. But I'm really excited. They look good. The swappable heads is something I didn't talk too much about in the last video, I don't think, which is really neat. Especially, it's funny because they just recently at Comic-Con did the swappable heads with like human Jason and Tommy heads for MMPR red and green. Red and green again. Green to red. For Comic-Con, and then they have one on Amazon right now, a figure art White Ranger with Tommy head. It's different though, he doesn't have his hair in a ponytail. This one's got a ponytail. But I think that's going to be something really cool for all the Rangers, because especially for fans like me that own, like when we get to MMPR specifically, that own so many versions. Like, I like the idea that I could display them all helmetless. I think that's really cool. As someone pointed out on Twitter, what are they going to do when they get to Justin? I wouldn't mind paying like 25 bucks to get like, or maybe, or like a special set. You get like the 6-inch you know, Blue Turbo and then like a smaller little helmetless Justin. But that'll be interesting. I'd love to get to stuff like the Alien Rangers with their interesting heads. Phantom Rangers, just a blank helmet. I like that. Love that. Really excited for it. I'm not too PO'd about buying all the Legacy Collection stuff. I mean, I definitely get where some people are coming from, whether they invested or not, or feel grateful they didn't. But I'm like weird because I find it fascinating to collect the history of it, like seeing the evolution of all the figures. So I definitely think this looks like a step up. The only thing that worries me is it looks like they have that weird hinge joint on their chest, like instead of a ball joint. So we'll see. But it's still, for a prototype, it looks pretty cool. And it looks like they're putting a lot of effort into it. But that was the only thing that kind of worried me. But, you know, it's still early days before that. Then, like, you know, we did see some other little bits there, like Lineage posters and those pins, which were cool and stuff. And we're getting a Lord Draken pop. As I've mentioned when I've covered pops, not the diner from Riverdale, but, you know, I usually only get them if there's something I'm really into, which I really like Draken, so I'm excited for that. There's like a metallic Tommy pop for those that are into metallic Tommies. We got a little more crossover footage, you know, which, as I mentioned, looks really cool. I'm most excited to see the White Drago suit, which is my favorite suit in HD footage, so I'm excited for that. You know, it's a good group of Rangers. It's actually kind of a shame that I think they said Wes and Tommy are going to get the core focus, just because there's actually a couple of my favorites in there that I'd like to see interact, which I think would be fun. Again, I'm hoping for an extended cut for that, but I liked a lot of the shots I saw. I really appreciated that they actually did something kind of different for the evil clone Rangers. And I really like the fight scene between Black Ranger and Green Ranger. I thought that was cool. It's kind of like a spiritual sequel to Fighting spiritual sequel. Boom, nailed it. I would love to see a fight scene somewhere between Draken and Black Ranger Tommy, because those are like both the pinnacles of what Tommy could become. Like, you know, this uber evil grid shatterer, and then like this sage mentor of the Power Rangers universe who teaches high school. But yeah, so I'm like mild to moderately excited for that. I think it'll be a fun time. You know, there was a little bit more of teases about Super Ninja Steel. That's coming out this weekend, so I'll be doing an episode review for that. There wasn't too many little tidbits from the show that I felt was worth noting from the panel that I picked up. Chip, excuse me, I'm sorry about that, guys. Chip did say that it was Saban that was enforcing the humor. I'm kind of over the whole, like, oh, let's blame Chip or Saban or Nick. Like, I just want to move forward, you know, always forward, never back. But I'm kind of over all that, but I never thought it was Nick necessarily, personally. I mean, and, you know, they have kind of more of a mix, I feel, of childish humor and other humor. I mean, I feel like even if Saban was forcing him to make stupid humor that some of us might not appreciate, he could have included some more funny humor to balance it out. Because lots of seasons have that. Like Dino Thunder would have a scene of Devin spilling a milkshake on him, which wasn't funny, but then they'd have some lines of dialogue, which I did find funny. So I don't know. Who knows? I guess it doesn't matter now. We'll see how Beast Morphers turns out and where we go from there. I think it's definitely Saban that wouldn't allow stuff like Calvin and Haley kissing. It's weird when I talk about this or have conversations about it on Twitter, because it makes us seem like pervs where we're like, oh, we gotta see them kiss. But it's just, it comes off so unnatural, like the way relationships behave in PR, like they're robots. Like, it's weird. So yeah, I think that was the only stuff that I can really remember that was super worth noting, not ultra. And then, of course, the big stuff with Beast Morphers. We got the cast reveal, as I said. I think they look good. Looks like a good group. We got our little teaser trailer, which, as expected, was mostly Sentai footage. Just a couple original shots of some scientists and that virus hologram of the snake. I keep wanting to say Evolt. I've been actively trying to stop myself from saying Evolt. Evox. So I'm pretty excited for that. I'm still cautiously optimistic, but honestly, I'm just really happy we're getting Go Busters stuff, because I love those suits so much, and I always thought they would be extra appealing here, because, not that they look more normal, because like Power Rangers is kind of an accepted thing here, but you know, sometimes the suits can look a little bit outlandish for like, you know, what people's tastes are, which is why like that whole collaboration on the Q Ranger suits happened, of like what like the US audience tends to lean towards. And I always felt the Go Busters suits were some of the sleekest stuff, and there was a ton of merch potential for it. So I'm still blown away we're getting it, period. So I'm just excited at the core for that, but I'm cautiously optimistic about the show. I think the best I'm hoping for is maybe just a little bit better of a quality bump and then like a true reinvention afterwards, but we'll have to see. And then of course there was the comic stuff from yesterday, which I literally just covered yesterday. The Solar Ranger stuff. There was some interesting speculation I saw about Solar Ranger because she's a Purple Ranger, maybe being Corone, based on the fact that, you know, Corone like had that purple outfit, and there's been all kinds of, you know, Purple Ranger speculation about her ever since that in space stuff. But also the fact that Lost Galaxy Pink, which was presumably Corone, was shown in Shattered Grid 30 as part of the Beyond the Grid team, and we don't know what happens to her. I think that Corone's like one of my all-time favorite Rangers, so I would love that. Like I would love to see maybe something where she like is with the team and then something happens to her early on in the issues and then comes back as Solar Ranger. And it's just really cool to see an original creation tethered to nothing. Like I mentioned, like, oh, she's the first original Ranger, but what I meant in that was like that's like fully a Boom Ranger that's not in any way tethered to anything, you know, that came before it. Like the Hyperforce Rangers are obviously original Rangers, but you know, they're kind of tethered to Time Force. Not in a bad way, but, and it's not like I love original Rangers that are based on other seasons, but I just think it's neat to have one that, at least at this moment, even if there's some similarities to other suits, at least this moment we believe she's tethered only to herself. The color swap stuff with Go-Go Power Rangers looks neat. Apparently there's going to be a purpose to it. I'm curious if it's going to be, like, I'm sure it'll be temporary overall, maybe, who knows. But I mean, whether it'll be like the color swaps we saw and then that's what they stick with for whatever swaps they do, or if it'll be like a rotating thing like Tokyuger, where there's specific purposes to it. But, I mean, they said there's going to be a purpose to it. Just curious what it is. I think it's neat that we're getting some sort of innovative stuff out of that. You know, not just, I mean, I've really liked Go-Go Power Rangers for the character stuff, but it looks like we're going to be getting some really neat stuff out of that. Looking forward to the Soul of the Dragon stuff. It was neat to see like the scene with Tommy and Cather's aliens in the background, which I forgot to mention in yesterday's video. Like kind of, they're actually acknowledging the aliens are going to be on Earth at that point, so neat stuff there. As I mentioned, I'm really excited we're going to get to see Heckle as Dark Ranger. I think that's going to be really cool going forward. I'm really interested to see if we could expand the Dino Charge lore based on that, like possibly in his special, maybe even get some more stuff about the Energems. I think that would be really, really cool. I'm just excited that it's happening. And I think we have potential now that like the last annual and like the MMPR special and stuff was filled with stories related to other seasons. I think that now that we're going into Beyond the Grid, with the core team being made up of an amalgam, excuse me, of different seasons, I think there's potential that we could see the annual stories be from different seasons, which I think would be great. I talked about this like at length when I first started covering the comics, that's what I would love to see. So that's something I'm really hoping for. Especially like, you know, if the stories in the annuals could enhance the stories of our Beyond the Grid team. But anyway, I've gone on long enough. That was the Morphicon stuff. Very exciting. Lots of stuff to look forward to on the horizon. Still cautiously optimistic about the show stuff, but I'm stoked that we have some really cool content coming our way for the show, especially the comics. Super excited to finally get some stuff about Hasbro. I'm really eager to find about the Beast Morpher stuff. Like, it was cool seeing the Lightning Line stuff, and I love the name for it. But I'm most excited to see what the main toy line is going to be like. And I'm also kind of curious to see how they're going to handle like Legacy Morphers and Megazords. But when any news breaks, I will be sure to update you. And don't worry, toy reviews are going to be back. I think the next video I'm planning should be a toy review. I'm sorry about all the onslaught of having to see my face for news updates. But I also do have a couple special videos like this planned for the upcoming anniversary and Power Rangers Day. So look forward to that. Anyway, that's about it. Or don't look forward to it because you might not. But anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course don't forget to climb the steps and ring that bell so you get the notifications for all those videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.